Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching
You're watching Fanboy.
Fanboy,
fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
Dot, I assume Tom.
Gentlemen, Michael Cudlitz and Neal McDonough. It's a pleasure to chat with you, gentlemen. Michael, I've run into several times at various events for like holiday parties and stuff. I know you don't remember me because I'm not that memorable. And Neal, come on, man, you're a living legend, especially in the DC world. So we got to love you for everything else. But today we're talking about Redstone. Dude, this is like a modern Western meets Untouchables, and there's so much to unpack in this film.
Yeah, it's I was blessed to be part of something like this, and when they came to me, when Derek, the director, came to me, and then Jason Starn, they said, "We want you to be in this film," and I read the script, and originally my agent was like, "I'm not so sure if this is the right thing for you because it's such a small independent," and it was one of the best scripts I've ever read. I'm like, "No, I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to crush it. And I'm going to make darn sure that Michael Cudlitz is opposite me because I want this film to be awesome." And Michael said he had like 19 projects going at the same time when there was this little window that we could slide Michael in, and he did it. And once you see this film and you see what Cudlitz does, he's just awesome. It's the two of us together on screen is just, to me, not only cinematic gold, but to get to hang out and do what we get to do together. I love Michael, and we've been we've known each other for so long that getting to do it together was just a blessing upon blessings. So, brother, thank you very much for doing the movie with us. You're a stud.
Pleasure. Had a blast doing it. The funny thing about this film was that we did it during lockdown, during middle of COVID. And I remember getting a call from Neal, and he says, "Hey, I got this project I'm sending you, and I'd love for you to play opposite me. It's the bad guy, and I'm going to be sending you a script." I said, "What are the dates?" He told me what the dates were. I think that's going to work. I'll do it. He goes, "Well, I'll send you the script, read it, and let me know what you think." I go, I like, sure, I'll read the script, but
it was awesome.
I'm doing it. He's like, "Well, okay." He's like, "I don't know what the money is." I go, "I don't care. I'm doing it. You want me to do it? It's opposite you. It's going to fit into my schedule. Let's do it." And then I got the script, and then it was just just doubled down on everything. So I was very, very pleased. Couldn't have had a better time in the middle of pandemic, and such a pleasure to work with Neal again.
It was awesome.
The funny thing about Michael is that Michael is one of the nicest people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting on a personal experience when it wasn't work related. Yet since your teens, you've played the school bully, like the mean jock, the a-hole cop, and now the heavy in this film in Redstone. How do you switch it off from being like a nice person in your real life to the characters that you play? Is it just because this is where you can finally get it out because you're so genuinely polite to everybody?
Exactly. This is where I get all my angst out at work, and then I get to come home and enjoy my life. No, I love playing the bad guys. They're Neal will tell you, the two of us have been very blessed and able to play wonderful bad guys. There's just always so much going on with them, and they're always complicated, and it's sort of like we like to say that he's not a bad guy. He's just completely misunderstood.
And that's what Jed was. He was just, if you look at your character on, when the first time you see him, you think, well, this is a really nice guy. And what you're saying, actually, if you think about it, makes sense in a strange and bizarre way. You're all about the family, and you don't mess with the, and if you mess with the family, something's going to happen. Knowing Cudlitz as well as I do, he is the biggest teddy bear on the planet. But if you mess with his family or his friends, the bear is coming out. And he's got some big old sharp claws. And that's what I love about Michael. But he never has to use them because he's just this behemoth of a man that you look at him, you're like, nah, I don't need that fight. And it works so well. It works so well as the character that it's just, it's awesome. It's really, you killed it, dude. You killed it.
You are the greatest hype man on the face of the planet. You've always talked everybody up, whomever you've been interviewed with, in regards to a project that you've worked on. You've never said one bad thing about a co-star. even when they're not around. So it's not because Michael's
That's right.
around, it's because you're that genuinely kind and grateful to work with everybody.
But it's I have look, they pay me money to do something that I love to do, so far be it that I'm ever going to mail anything in or not appreciate the gifts that God's given me, so if I'm overly positive about things, that's just who I am naturally. I'm such a positive, anything is possible type of guy. And that's the kind of the background that I came from. And, my mom and dad just kind of instilled that stupid faith in myself. You can do it. There's only one Neal McDonough. Go be the best Neal McDonough you can be in everything you do. And, so when I'm hanging out with actors on sets, some people may think you got along with that person. I'm like, I get along with everybody because I come to set to work and create and make great entertainment for the viewers. That's my job. And I try to pull the best out of not just me, but everyone that I'm around with. So you can have an enjoyable experience also doing the filming. Because look, you're there 15, 16 hours a day. You got to try to enjoy it, or else it's not going to be that fun. And then you don't have any longevity. And then all of a sudden you don't enjoy what you do. That's not me. And that's not Michael Cudlitz. We really enjoy what we do, and it's fun.
You guys pulled it off with this film, and it doesn't feel like an indie film. It feels like a bigger studio production. Like you got $30-40 million to pull this off, to tell a phenomenal story. And I see that, and whether it's a blessing in disguise from the lockdowns that we went through, where we had to reevaluate things that were important to us, we see that the rise of storytelling has come over the rise of visual effects. I mean, there's still a place for them. Spider-Man's coming out soon. I'm going to be thrilled to see that when that comes out, but here we have a deep-rooted story that easily could have been translated from a novel.
That's right.
And it just has that flow that you were really surprised how quickly it moves.
Yeah, it's, it all comes down to the words, doesn't it? When you get to play with great words like Derek put together, it makes everything so easy. And then the situations were fantastic. And I think in this day and age, everyone loves to see someone overcoming their problems, right? And, there's Boon overcoming his problems. But on the other side of it, everyone also wants to see the dirt bags take a whooping. And that also happens in this. So not that Michael's the dirt bag. The other people are all the dirt bags, of course, not Michael. So bad guys need to be taken down, and good guys need to overcome something to be able to get to the point where they can realize, oh, here's what I'm supposed to be doing. Now let's go do it and get it done. And that's simple 1970s filmmaking. And that's what Derek really does well. And I think that it shows on screen. I think that, all the characters, from, Mike Dopewood, when he came in, and everyone else who was part of it, it was, everyone knew they were doing something kind of special for no money. And it was a small budgeted thing that everyone helped out and everyone was in it together. And I think that's what made Redstone such a successful movie for all of us.
And speaking of Derek Presley, who's the writer and director of the film, it's sometimes difficult to divorce yourself from the written word when you get behind the camera because you're so married to it. Was he able to divorce himself from certain aspects to go, okay, this worked in my head and this worked on paper, but now we have to switch this on the fly because the world is shut down, because we have a skeleton crew, and now we have to make something else happen in its place?
100%. Yeah. I mean, just from what I had witnessed, again, Neal was in it from conception throughout filming, all through post. I came in and did my thing, but from an outsider watching them, we would come in if Neal and I would have an idea, something that that we felt worked, we would present it. It was discussed. If it made sense, we moved forward with it. When I was watching Neal work with Derek, there were time constraints, things that happen, things that develop when you're working with other actors. Very much in the moment, very much made us all part of the process. And in the end, that's when you have someone who is confident in their storytelling ability and is open to change. Because when you're open for discussion for different point of views, something better always happens. Because you have someone coming in with one point of view and another point of view, different but good. And you sort of go, oh, I actually see that. But you know what? Take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then we get this. And that, to me, that's filmmaking, when everybody comes together and we all come up with this wonderful thing in the end that nobody really thought of on their own specifically, but everybody's contributions added to it.
Yeah.
Well put. Man, you're smart.
So I got it's written down somewhere.
That's
and everything added.
Rachel's in the room feeding you notes, isn't she?
No, that's why I'm in trouble. She's home.
That's right. Same with me.
Well, on the bright side, we have this recorded, so you can go back and quote yourself at some.
That's right.
But what's really enjoyable about indie films and the resurgence of indie films and the way they're coming back, and we have the access to VOD and in theaters and all sorts of different other platforms now. How I understand, there's still that draw to the big budget theatrical films, the mega blockbusters and everything else. But as an independent filmmaker in this instance, is it a bit more relief? Does it feel a little more like theater when you make Redstone, because you don't sit there and go, all right, we have $300 million sitting on our head from the studio that's making sure this needs to be a hit. I mean, I want this movie to be a hit. It's absolutely gorgeous. It has that gritty 70s feel, and it's a very modern Western that's quite enjoyable for all audiences that like good stories. But, is it a bit more of a relief in that regard in making the project?
I don't know. Michael and I have been part of some really, big budget things, and they're great. But once you get to do something like this, and everyone's in it, it's kind of a skeleton crew, that everyone is in it together as a team, really truly as a team effort, and it works so well. I love independent films. I love that feeling of, okay, we've got one take. You better be ready. You better be cranked up. Everyone better be, doing their job at the best ability that they can, and then we're moving on. And when you do that all day long, it becomes kind of infectious in that you want to be the best. It's like game day. If I'm up there and, it's 3 balls, 2 strikes, I know a fastball's coming down the chute and I'm going to hammer this thing. That's what it felt like doing Redstone, especially when you get someone like Michael, who also directs and who's been in a bazillion things. Guys like that know what they're doing, and they know how to help make a project better. And that's what with, Dominic Scott Kay and all these other great actors that we had in the film, everyone was in it to really do their very best. And it worked. I'm still in awe and humbled by, the final project, Redstone, that everyone worked so hard on it. And I'm really, really proud of it.
Yeah. Like I said, it does not feel like an indie film. It feels like a studio production that went out there to tell a great story, and you were able to do an amazing job. And I'm guessing that you guys had probably about a month to film this with pickups.
Not even. Cut that in half. Cut that in half.
17 days.
Yeah. It was 18, and we had to push for the 18th. But here's where it also comes down to preparation. If you're prepared for things, great things happen. Derek Presley, his shot list, his idea, he knew exactly what shot was going to be where and how he was going to tell the story before he got to set. When you have a director like that, man, it's your day. We never had a 12-hour day. We certainly never had anything over 12. We made our days and then some, because Derek knew exactly what he wanted. And it was really a testament to Derek and his vision, why this movie is so good.
With the world having been shut down and then filming it in this small town, did it give it an even greater feel, not necessarily of urgency, but that small town gravitas to it, where there's 500 people that live in this little town, that everybody knows each other and everybody knows everybody's business, but nobody's talking publicly? Does the city itself almost become a character in the story because of the way the world fell apart?
Michael, why don't you take that one? Tell us a little bit about Corsicana.
Yeah, Corsicana was beautiful, and not meaning any offense, it was adorable. Like, it's this just lovely little town, and I'd never been there before. And we were in the middle of. It was kind of interesting. So we're in the middle of what COVID's going on. The talk was at the time that the numbers were surging in Texas. I don't really know what that means, like, so far as like you take an entire state, we're in a little part of it, in a little, a town that has an incredibly small population and is isolated. So I was not nervous going into it. We were welcomed by the town. There were officials in the town, I believe, that were very, very connected with the filming of the show, whether it be locations or making sure that everything was running smoothly and we had everything we needed and we were protected and felt safe. It was an incredible experience. This is everybody also sort of starting to get back to some sense of normalcy. So we were very much welcomed. We all wanted to be there. We were, connecting. You're like, oh my gosh, it's another human that's outside of my bubble that has to do with work. So there was just, it's the whole process of not just this project, but everything since. And Neal's feeling it now, I'm sure, what he's working on up in Canada right now, up in Calgary, is that this is what we do. So, for the actors, when we would go on set, everything's masked up until you get on set. And then when you are getting ready to go, you take your mask off and you get into it. And for us, that's the most normal thing that we had experienced in a year, was to be on set acting with another person. So our masks were off and we were able to interact and do our jobs as we've always done them. So in a lot of ways, it just felt normal. But we can't forget that it was also a blessing that we were able to do it and connect with each other. So it was, the whole experience was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we were the first or one of the first. I think we were actually the first film to go back up.
We were one of the first. I only say that because I had shot something.
You were on. That's right.
I had shot something before that was shooting concurrently, but I had gone out there up in the mountains in California and shot something. So it was absolutely one of the first. I think that the two projects I worked on were simultaneously greenlit by the Screen Actors Guild the same week. So it was absolutely, and Redstone was absolutely a much larger production. Strangely enough, the other thing that I did was much smaller, because of the nature of the COVID. And I think that these smaller projects that were out and open, outside, smaller casts were the ones to get through and greenlit first, because they knew that they could manage the situation, and they were just by nature of the proximity of the people and the fact that there were less of us.
Gentlemen, unfortunately, I got the 2-minute warning, so we're going to have to leave you with this. On December 3rd, Redstone is coming to select theaters and VOD. Give us that final push pitch that we need, to watch it just before Christmas.
It's a 70s throwback that will not let you down. There's great relationships. There's great action. There's subtlety. It looks beautiful. It's shot in Texas. And, it's one of those films that I will be proud of for the rest of my life.
I dig it. Gentlemen, where can we find you on social media if we want to connect with you?
Good luck.
Everything for me is at Cudlitz.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Redstone is available in theaters and on VOD December 3rd. Congratulations on this film. I can't wait to see the Blu-ray so I can check out what the bonus features are going to look like. And again, congratulations. Can't wait to see everybody face to face once everything opens up and everybody's back in LA.
RC, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
buddy.